Galati and Prestige Yachts have been partners here in the United States since 2015. The 2019 Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show was a very special one. During this show, we awarded Galati Yacht Sales with the #1 dealership in North America for Prestige Yachts. It was a big night on Friday night when the entire Galati family came on board. It was full of emotions, and it's a very well-deserved award. It's really a hard-working family full of passionate people that represent our brand so well. We are looking at a very bright future working with Galati Yacht Sales. We have come to discover how much of a powerhouse of a dealership Galati Yacht Sales really is.
Thank you for joining us on board with Team Galati. I'm your host, Maria Galati Hill. We have a great show for you today, and before we get started, I just want to remind all of our viewers to please utilize the chat feature to ask questions and provide comments, and we will be getting back to you throughout the show. We have the pleasure today of sitting down with the president of Prestige Yachts America, Mr. Nick Harvey. Mr. Harvey, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Maria.
And we also have joined with us our Prestige Yachts brand manager of Galati Yacht Sales located at our Tampa office, Mr. Steve Gale. Thank you for joining us, Steve.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, let's just dive right in. For our viewers, Nick, can you give us a brief rundown of the history of Jeanneau and Prestige and their introduction into the U.S. market?
Absolutely, Maria and Steve. Good to see you too. Yeah, it's been a great run. The Prestige brand was actually born from the Jeanneau shipyard, and if I take a little step back and talk a little bit about the origins of Jeanneau, a lot of people know the Jeanneau name here in North America as being associated with the manufacturing of sailing boats, but actually very few people know that Jeanneau was actually a brand that started with the manufacturing of powerboats. And Henry Jeanneau was the founder of the Jeanneau shipyard in 1957. And him and his father were passionate about powerboat racing. And that's how the Jeanneau shipyard started. And it's not until the mid-60s that they built their first sailboat. So a really rich heritage in powerboat manufacturing, and that carried on all throughout the 60 years plus of history of the company. And then in the middle of this history is, of course, in the late 80s, 1989 exactly, was the birth of the first Prestige. It was a 41-footer, and that is how the history of Prestige was started with this demand for luxurious motor yachts, and so the 41 was born in 1989, over 30 years ago.
Wow, that's incredible. And you have had so much success in the U.S. market.
Yeah, the history of Prestige in North America is a great history, really. We decided to come to the U.S. market in 2011, and we started introducing the Prestige to the U.S. market and the Canadian market, for that matter, in North America in general. Because we really felt that we had something unique to bring to the table, and so really since 2011 we have now delivered over 650 Prestige in the North American market, both US and Canada, which is an incredible record. And we lead in the flybridge segment between 40 and 60 feet. We lead the market now for the last 3 years, and we're really happy with with how our product has been received by the North American boater, really.
Absolutely. What sets the brand apart for other yachts in the same class?
Well, you don't have to take my word for it. I'm a little bit biased, obviously, but I think that Steve would agree that when you ask an owner of a Prestige or someone who's considering becoming an owner of a Prestige, what they see in our product that they don't see anywhere else, there's really three main factors that come into play. Number one is the way that we use the space inside of our yachts to provide the maximum amount of accommodation. It's very unique in the market, and it's something that attracts a lot of yacht owners. They want to use their yacht as a second residence on the water, and for that reason, having the maximum amount of space on board is important to them. The second thing is probably the way that our yachts ride on the water, and this is something that is always great to demonstrate, because oftentimes owners discover boats at the shows. They don't have the opportunity to try the boats out, but when they do get out on the water, they actually see how wonderful the ride of a Prestige is. And it's a science that Prestige has developed over the 30-year history of the brand. And what it comes down to, Maria, is really trying to keep the center of gravity of the boat as low as possible. And we talk about how we do that in the architecture of the Prestige yacht. We do that by a very clever superimposition of the different levels of the yacht, especially in our flybridge models. We actually have flybridge models that have an overall height, if you don't count the hardtop, for example, or the biminis, that are quite low compared to most of the other brands out there. And that allows us to keep the center of gravity down. And with a lower center of gravity, you achieve a much better handling of the boat and a much better ride on the water. So that's the second thing. And then I want to say that the third thing is probably the power to weight ratio that we choose for Prestige. You'll notice if you look at a Prestige price list that we don't offer 10 or 12 different engine sizes. We believe in that perfect match between a boat overall length and a choice of power, a choice of engine. And so generally you'll see that there are only about one or two engine choices on Prestige, because that's really the only two that will really work. And we thrive to find the best fuel consumption, the best weight to power ratio. We always target a certain range, with our standard tankage. So again, all of this is a science that we've refined over the last 30 years.
And I can attest to this because I had the pleasure of visiting the Prestige factory in Knott's about 5 years ago. And something that I was truly fascinated by was the science and innovation that you put forth into every little aspect of each model. And I have to say something that wasn't mentioned by you that I just have to throw in there because it was something that I found so incredible, was the lab at your factory where you test every material, every paint, every metal in each yacht to be, upstand every element in different types of atmospheres. I think that was one thing that I was really blown away by. And as you said too, the build that you put forth into each model, the height and the size and the ratios, it's really incredible because you're putting forth all this effort to make it the best possible boat there is. And that's exactly why you're leading the market in the 40 to 60 foot range. So, it's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to agree with that, Maria. I've taken a tour of the factory, and what's taken America by storm is the value that this brand brings to the table. And when you walk on board this European build, it's the quality and the value that you get, it's there because of the efficiency that factory operates in. I mean, they have 5-axis routers that are cutting out holes and drilling holes on parts that come out of their molds. It's an extremely efficient build, and the manufacturer passes that on to the consumer. and that's what's made this brand so popular in the United States. And it's amazing the leap that they've taken in a short period of time.
It's interesting what you just said, Steve, and I will always remember in the early days of Prestige in North America, some of the journalists that looked at the Prestige for the first time, and saw, the price of the boat and the value, and the first question that came to their mind is, well, what did they take out?
What's missing?
Just answered that question. That question is nothing. We haven't taken anything out. We just have a very efficient way of manufacturing, which stems back to all these years of practice and also the support of the group that's behind us, which is the largest boat building group in the world, which gives us the economies of scale for the purchasing of the equipment and the material, et cetera. And all this, like you said, Steve, passes on to the final owner of the yacht.
And Nick, you briefly mentioned it, and I want to harp on that a little bit more, but the efficient construction that Prestige puts forth in their green building methods to reduce cost for consumer, a safer environment for both the employees and the environment around the factory as well. Can you harp a little bit more on that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely, Maria. So this is obviously paramount to us, making sure that we follow the strictest guideline for environmental protection, for effectively all the emissions of styrenes that can come out of the curing of the resin, but also, for our workers inside of our factories. So we have some very, very stringent rules and regulations that we follow. Anything over 50 feet today is resin vacuum bag infused. So it provides, a much better control over those emissions of styrene because everything is contained under the vacuum bagging effectively. But it also allows us to control the amount of resin that goes into each hull in order to have much better control over the weight. A lot of times we talk about, vacuum bagging infusion as, a way to reduce weight. For us, it's as much of a way to control the weight as it is to reduce it. We're not trying to take any weight out if we need it. We're just trying to control it in a better way. And having it all contained without any of the of the vapors actually going out into the air is certainly something that we focus on our yachts over 50 feet.
That's incredible. And green building methods are hard to come by in the boat building industry. So for you to have that in mind is really incredible and says a lot about your brand.
Yeah, and we also, there's a lot of other, it trickles down to a lot of other areas of the manufacturing as well, ranging from the type of plywood that we buy, which again has to meet some standard criteria, very stringent criteria. You would be amazed at the different types of plywood that you can buy out there, from the worst ones using some really, bad products, bad glues, all the way to the most, to the most sophisticated ones. And we really at Prestige buy all these products and test them in our lab, like you were talking about earlier, to make sure that that the finished product is going to respect and follow the highest standards.
On the topic of factory visits, we are so proud to represent a brand that we're able to go and visit and see firsthand what it's like. And, we are so honored to, last year at the 2019 Fort Lauderdale Boat Show, we were extremely honored to receive the award of your top dealer for North America. It's a big deal to our team to be able to achieve that.
It was, and it was the second one because actually Galati Yacht Sales, who we've been partners with since 2014, had also received the top award in 2017 during a great celebration that we all had together in Greece. Two-time number one dealer in North America, 2017 and 2019. A fantastic relationship with the entire team. There's a lot of similarities between the Prestige family and the Galati family. As far as I'm concerned, both companies, very, very strong family values. Prestige belongs to a large group that is a family-owned group that has been in the boat business for over 130 years, and that's still managed by a woman today. So there's really, from a family standpoint, a lot of common values between the two brands. And our alignment here in the North American market has been great.
Absolutely. Prestige going on 30 years and Galati's going on 50, starting in 2014. And we've been going strong ever since. And something that my start of the Prestige relationship was when I was in college, I would take breaks out of school to come and work the boat shows. And I was stationed in the Prestige booth. And I was, just a customer service rep and representing Galati's and helping foot traffic. But I really got to know your team and the brand and getting to discuss and hear everyone talk about the models and watch them evolve over time too. The evolution of the product has been truly incredible.
Yeah, it's been fun. I remember these days when you were first there. I obviously took the role I have in 2014, but which was the very beginning of the relationship with Galati Yacht Sales. And I remember the different members of the Galati family, learning all the product, and the passion that comes out of your family is just incredible.
Thank you very much. We really enjoy it. So the current lineup of Prestige is, as leaders in the 40 to 60 range are going from 42 feet to 68 feet, but we are extremely excited about the introduction of the X70. So can you please expand a little bit more on the X class?
Absolutely. So let me tell you, Maria, a little bit about the X line. So this is a new venture for us. We actually have a lot of new things in store for 2021, so we're very excited. And the pinnacle of all these different model introductions is the X line. So we're not just introducing a new model, but we're introducing a all new line of Prestige. And we will start with a 70-footer called the X line, the X70. And this boat and the series of X line is going to be incredible. It's really a completely new take on life on board your boat. And on this X70, it's got a striking design, obviously, as you can see on the video and the pictures. But what's most interesting about it is how the owner of this yacht is going to live on board this yacht and enjoy weekends or longer time cruising on board the yacht. We have decided that we wanted to use more of the main deck area for accommodation, both inside in the salon and in the cockpit. And we've moved the side decks of the boat up to the flying bridge level. So we're going from about 70% utilization of the beam of the boat to 90% utilization of the beam on the main deck. Of course, we've engineered it so that you can still, dock the boat very easily and then move around the boat very easily. But this additional use of the beam inside completely transformed the way that you are going to move about the cockpit and the interior salon of a yacht, and we bring that in the Prestige X70.
We are so looking forward to seeing it, and the mock-ups excited me and our viewers when we posted them to social media, and I know that everyone listening to is so excited to learn more as that comes out and develops.
Yeah, absolutely. The boat has been in the water and undergoing some technical testing, the first one, and it's now in the Med, and we're doing some more technical testing in the Med, and then we shall soon be shipping the boat over to Florida.
We are so excited. That's going to be incredible.
Hopefully
for the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show, correct?
Right, Steve, absolutely. That's the plan. If the show takes place, we'll be ready.
Fantastic.
And that's in a couple months, so the countdown is on.
The countdown is on, absolutely.
The volume, the interior volume and exterior entertaining spaces on this boat are extraordinary, and it's certainly gonna turn the industry on its head when people get to see this boat and experience it firsthand. There's nothing else like it in a marketplace at 70 feet.
Right, that's exactly right. And this is, if you know a little bit the history of Prestige, you'll see here, some common threads. We always at Prestige bring into a smaller size features that you see on much, much larger boats. And so typically, we'll bring to a 70-footer things that you see on a 90 or 95-footer, for example, and things like that. And this is really something that we did extremely well. Take the introduction of the Prestige 500, which was an icon in the life of the Prestige brand. It really turned the market around back to the flybridge cruisers that maybe were popular 20 years ago, but had lost in popularity because no one had really found, the sweet spot for a really efficient flybridge cruiser. So again, that same desire for innovation that's fueled by the passion for the brand of all the designers at Prestige is bringing this new X-Line and X70 to the market. So I, just like you, very much look forward to being on the yacht as soon as she comes into to North America, and being able to show all of our existing owners how creative we are, and how there are still ways of looking at yacht manufacturing and yacht designing in different ways.
Absolutely. We are so excited. Thank you so much, Nick, for giving us a little bit of insight into the X-Line, because we are so excited about that. And all of your info today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Maria and Steve. It's always a pleasure to talk with you guys, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
And now Steve's going to take us through our lineup of in-stock Prestige Yachts models that are available for immediate delivery.
Yes, Maria, we have some great opportunities available right now. We have a 2019, brand new 2019 590 here at the Tampa Bay store that's available for immediate delivery. We have a 590 2020 sitting at our Anna Maria location, and we have a 520 2020 520 sitting here at our Tampa Bay location. So 3 in-stock boats ready for immediate delivery. We also have access to a 63S. The boat's at our Naples store right now. 63S is the sport version, not the flybridge, but the sport version. That boat's going to be moving north here shortly. And there's the 68 on the east coast of Florida, a 68 on the east coast of Florida that's available, a 2018 leftover that is available that we can help a customer with. So 68, 63S, 2 590s, and a 520 ready to deliver. We've seen unprecedented sales with Prestige over the last 3 months. I think the quarantine has gotten everybody out on the water, and this is a great way to spend time with your family.
Absolutely. And the Prestige is the perfect yacht to do so. So it's great we have some left in stock, because as I know, they've been flying off the docks lately. So yes, that's great news. Awesome. Thank you, Steve, for joining us.
Thank you.
Once again, I'm your host, Maria Galati Hill. Thank you so much for joining us on board with Team Galati. Until next time.